So basically, it's almost like a mafia boss saying, it'd be a shame if we carried out. It'd be a shame if we carried out on this strike because I wouldn't want you guys to lose your jobs, your livelihood, and then your town will go bankrupt. You see? So that's what it is. And why do we call them the big three? Well, the big three is because really it's really a monopolization because they all have an agreement with each other. It's not because, oh, we're just the ones that are left standing. No, because they absorbed all the rest of the companies and then they did layoffs and cuts so they can become bigger. So that's how capitalism works. It inflate, these corporations inflate themselves. But you're fired. Ford, one of the most well-known automakers in the United States, if not the world. He's been around for over 100 years. But the great-grandson of Henry Ford is now threatening auto workers. If they continue to strike, then they will face job cuts and layoffs. How do we know? Well, he said it in his speech. Let's give it a watch. Let's share the screen real quick and see what Billy Ford had to say. Ooh, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, boo. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's start here.
Well, thank you, Corey, and good morning, everybody. And thank you so much for joining me today at the Rouge. I wanted to meet here today because at 105 years old, the Rouge tells the story of Ford, the UAW, and America itself like rings on a tree. It's the living history of how we have endured every crisis the world has thrown at us and come out stronger together. This is where we build so many of our iconic models through the years. And when called upon by our country, helped democracy prevail in 2 world wars by building boats, tank parts, and jet engines. And when an explosion here took the lives of several of our employees, we got through those hard months as a family.
Okay. Let's talk about that explosion. See, here's why I love websites that bring out the truth, especially about explosions that happen. Let me see. Let me see if I can I? Let me see. Because it's really interesting. So he talks about this explosion, and let me share this with you guys. This is out of World Socialist website. Bill Ford is full of shit. I'm going to show y'all why. Oh, we came together. Says, as an example of this collusion, Ford cited the deaths of 6 Ford workers in the February 1st, 1999 explosion at the Rouge power plant, declaring that we all came together as a family. The UAW bureaucracy and management certainly came together, with then UAW Vice President Ronald Gettelfinger rush to the company's defense, saying the powerhouse was a safe facility. In fact, UAW Local 600 bureaucracy repeatedly ignored the grievances filed by power plant workers, including the workers killed in the blast, who warned about the imminent dangers of an explosion due to years of cost cutting and lack of maintenance. Oh, let me ask you something. Would that have happened if they didn't do their capitalism thing by cutting costs and cutting back maintenance. So whose fault was it that those employees died in that explosion? Billy, William, what? Whose fault is it? Oh, we came together as a family. Yeah, the president didn't kill the 6 workers. That's what happened. But he's not going to tell you that because he wanted to cut costs, right? Mr. 2 billion, that's how much he's worth, said that. Here's more BS.
When the pandemic upended our lives, factories like this one allowed us to turn on a dime to make life-saving PPE for frontline workers. A couple of decades ago, some executives wanted to shut down the Rouge. They thought it was just a rusting relic of another era. And I said no. Instead, we turned it into the most environmentally advanced plant in the industry.
All right, so I'm going to call BS on this because here's my thing. The auto industry is one of the key factors as to why our public transportation in this country is trash. Remember when we used to have a lot of streetcars back in the day? Well, who bought them all and then put them out of commission? Was it not the auto industry? Yes, they did that. Why did they do that? Because they wanted to put more cars out there on the road. It was never because we just think that it's the most environmentally friendly or most economical way to travel. No, they wanted more money. So they nearly killed an industry, a service, for the sake of building more cars, to build more automobiles. Never mind the fact that it actually is contributing partially to our climate change that we see in the nation. It makes it more difficult for those of us who are poor and working poor to get to where we need to go. Because if our public transportation is trash, then how do we get adequately to the places where we need to go for work, school, taking care of ourselves, what have you? We just can't. On top of that, it also pushes the fight for energy abroad when it comes to our foreign wars, because we have to go abroad to get oil in other oil-rich countries. This also exacerbates the interest in keeping Israel as a settler colonial state in the Middle East, because you essentially need a base of operations in order to keep tabs on oil-rich countries in the region, like Syria and Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. Well, Afghanistan is more of a, it's not necessarily oil-rich, but it is definitely opium-rich. But you have to keep tabs on these oil-rich countries. So you kind of, in a sense, need a babysitter, right? To keep tabs on them. That's what Israel's for. So because we have to have these oil-rich nations, because of our auto industry, because of our military-industrial complex, well, yeah, that's why we have it. Because of auto companies like Ford and GM and all the rest. And so when they say, oh, well, we have this factory that's very environmentally conscious, that's peanuts, right? It's peanuts because that factory the good that it does, as far as being, as far as it is, as far as it's when it comes to its ability to curb, it's just bullshit. It's not curbing any type of climate change whatsoever. All it does is it's just like a face, like, oh, we're doing this good thing. Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. That's basically what it is. Sorry. I tried to find the best way to come up with the explanation, but that's the best way I can come up with.
And as Corey said, today it assembles America's favorite vehicle, the F-150, and also the F-150 Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
The Rouge is the crown jewel of a company that still believes that building in America matters. Automobile plants like the Rouge have created countless well-paying manufacturing jobs and a thriving.
If it's countless well-paying manufacturing jobs, then why are the United Auto Workers going on strike? Answer me that, William, please. Why are they going on strike if it is well-paying manufacturing jobs? That's like a parent that abuses their child and they go, well, my child respects me. Meanwhile, your child is suffering and they have to get, see a psychiatrist just to work through their trauma that you gave them. And you're saying, oh yeah, but my child respects me. Yeah, because they're scared of you. It's not because they actually see you as a beneficial parent, because they're scared of your ass. And so they're only doing it as a means to self-preservation. And so then you're saying, well, we actually, have some of the best pay, for our workers, when in reality, it's like, yeah, no, they're going on strike. This guy.
Thriving middle class. And they have become the foundation of our communities and the Midwest cities that we know and love. I want to be clear on something else too. A strong manufacturing base is critical to our national security.
You don't believe that? Oh gosh, if you believed it, then you would have believed it way back in the 90s when Bill Clinton decided to sign NAFTA into law and then they shipped the jobs overseas. If you feel that way, bring all them jobs back from overseas. Bring them back. But you don't believe that, do you, William? Oh, William. I was born at night, but not last night, boo. Come on now. Do you actually believe that I believe when you say that it's to our national security? Why does this guy sound like a politician? He might as well. Like, remember Bob Dole? I'm Bob Dole. Remember what he always carried a pen in his hand? He might as well have a pen in his hand and, he might as well be doing that, a stump speech. That's what it sounds like. This guy is, looks like melted ice cream. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, but he does.
Building things in America matters now more than ever, especially in these uncertain times. And we can't take that for granted. In my lifetime, I've watched countries lose their auto industry, and then virtually all industries after that.
Why, William? Please, for the class, tell us why. Come on. Could it be programs like the IMF and World Bank and making it so that these countries really are kept in perpetual debt their entirety so that these banks can skim money off these countries time and time again? And then they input austerity so that their people are kept poor. And yes, they work in the cobalt mines, they'll work in the platinum mines, they'll work in the gold mines, they'll work in the lithium mines, and they'll work hard all day and all night. But yet, when it comes down to it, they never just seem to get themselves out of it. All those people, if only they lifted themselves up more by their bootstraps, right? They just don't have that grit and determination that we as Americans have. Even though we're the ones that put them there. Even though it's nations like the G7 nations, like France and Germany and Italy and the United Kingdom, that put them there. But no, it is they just don't have it within them like we do. Right? America.
Countries that once had vibrant industrial bases no longer make anything. They become dependent on others for critical products, aspects of their supply chain,
like America,
and even national defense.
Oh, like
and
America.
Today, as the UAW strike against Ford continues, we are at a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing the right path isn't just about Ford's future and our ability to compete. This is about the future of the American automobile industry.
Damn right.
The UAW leaders have called us the enemy in these negotiations.
They're right. You are the enemy in these negotiations. Where's the lie, William? Where's the lie?
But I will never consider our employees as enemies.
Mm-hmm.
This should not be Ford versus the UAW. It should be Ford and the UAW versus Toyota, Honda, Tesla, and all the Chinese companies that want to enter our home market.
Oh, there it is. Oh. So it's not workers of the world unite. It's join us with the corporation against all the other corporations so that we can fight against the evil Chinese. That's what it is. Oh, no, it's about the evil Chinese. It's about Toyota and Honda, right? It's about going against the yellow peril in the East, right? That's what it's about. And it comes out. Because if he was really about the workers, first of all, Ford would be a worker-owned, worker-operated corporation. First of all right, let's put that out there. Second of all, if I was up there talking, I would have said workers of the world unite. Solidarity between Ford, GM, Toyota, Tesla, Honda workers, and auto workers in China. Solidarity between all y'all. Because here's the thing. Ultimately, it is about William's interests versus your interests. That's what it's about. And the thing is that he doesn't want you to think that. He doesn't want you to know that, because he wants you to think that him getting his $17 million a year, that's also in your interest. When in reality, it's not. Because if it was, you wouldn't need to be on strike right now. But you are on strike right now because his interests are not aligned with your interests. But he doesn't want you to know that. He doesn't want you to think that. He's trying to put this, oh, we're all in this together. Yes. But in reality, no, it's not. You as a worker have nothing in common with this pile of ice cream. You have none. Why? Because Yogurt Face over here does not have the same class interest as you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be insulting. I shouldn't. But here's the thing. I don't like capitalists. I don't. Why? Because they exploit. I don't like exploiters. That's why you came here. That's why you clicked on this channel. That's why you're watching me right now, because you don't like them either. Oh, gosh. Can I even take any more of this? I don't know. Let me just do just a little bit more. I don't even know. I'm almost halfway through this damn speech.
Toyota, Honda, Tesla, and the others are loving this strike because they know the longer it goes on, the better it is for them. They will win, and all of us will lose.
No, Billy. No, William. Your shareholders will lose. You will lose. But the thing is, you won't even lose that much. You guys are still going to be rich. They're just asking for a bigger piece of the pie. What? Hang on. Why is it asking for a bigger piece of the pie is such a bad thing when it comes to workers? I mean, aren't they the ones who actually put you in the spot that you're in right now financially? Why is that so wrong? William, this guy just, something ain't right.
This is why Ford's ability to invest in the future isn't just a talking point. It's the absolute lifeblood of our company. And if we lose it, we will lose to the competition. America loses. Many jobs will be lost. So will future investments. We'll lose factories like the one we're in here today. And communities will suffer greatly.
Do you hear what this guy is saying? Yo, wake up. He's basically saying, if you guys continue to strike, we're going to lose this company. We're gonna have to lay some people off. We're gonna have to fire some people if you guys continue to strike, because if we lose out on money, then you guys aren't gonna fare too well if you guys keep striking for actual living wages and decent working conditions and surface level benefits, even though we're making billions of dollars in record profits. That's what he's saying.
Now, I haven't spoken publicly since these negotiations began, but I believe I have a unique perspective to share.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the longest serving leader in our industry.
So
I've been part of every negotiation since 1982.
Too bad.
And I've worked with every UAW leader from Doug Frazier to Ron Gittlefinger and Bob King.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been the most pro-union leader in our industry.
Then why are they striking, William? Hang on. Ask that question again. Then why? Why are they striking? Pray tell. If you're so pro-union, then that means no strike should really be happening under you. This is just like with Joe Biden. I'm the most pro-union president. You can take that to the bank. If that's the case, then why did you shut down the Railroad Workers Union? Why did you shut them down? Oh, it's bluster. It's BS. Jeez Louise.
On my watch, Ford is the only automaker to have added UAW jobs over the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
We employ more UAW workers than any other automaker. We assemble more vehicles here in the US than anyone else, including 100% of our F-Series trucks. Many of our competitors moved.
He didn't say all their cars, though.
Jobs to Mexico as we added jobs here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Ford is the strongest partner the UAW has ever known. These are choices we made, and it's added cost to our business in an industry that is extraordinarily competitive. But it aligns with my personal values and the values of our company and our history. We believe in building in America.
No, you don't.
Every set of negotiations has been challenging, but at the end of the day, we've always recognized that we're all Ford, and we will succeed or fail together. We know how vital the UAW is to the success of our company, and we want our employees to do well. We didn't wait for the current contract talks to create thousands of jobs or invest billions of dollars beyond what was required by the letter of a deal. And we agree that our UAW colleagues deserve even more.
If that's the case, then why are they on strike? You see, the workers will tell you everything you need to know about the company, especially if they're in a union. If they're going on strike, then that means that they do not like the way the company is being ran, and so they have no choice but to do what is necessary. A strike is the nuclear option. Always remember this. Whenever workers go on strike, that is the nuclear option. Because if the negotiations fell through, that's basically what a strike is. It means the negotiations fell through. They couldn't come to an agreement. And 9 times out of 10, it's the corporation that's at fault because they have the money, they have the resources to give the workers what they want. They just don't want to do it because they're greedy. That's basically what it is.
And that's why we've offered a record contract, which
record contract. Look, I can say, well, I have $100 and I can give you $100 and say, well, we raised your contract by 10%. That is huge. When in reality, it's only $10. Record contract, like, come on, dude. And here's the crazy part: we were looking for 1,000,
which would make our UAW employees among the best paid manufacturing workers in the world.
Best paid. Look, if I make $1 more above the industry standard, you can literally say I'm the best paid, and as far as industry standards are concerned, if I just make $1 an hour more, that doesn't tell me jack squat.
Despite this, the UAW leaders decided to escalate and strike our Kentucky truck plant last week.
Dude, do you hear that? This dude is... Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm done with him. So, basically, that's what it is, right? So let me share this article, which that actually goes into this in a more detail, and it really breaks it down. This article. So it says Bill Ford threatens auto workers with layoffs and plant closures if strike expands. So He is the great-grandson of founder Henry Ford. William Clay Ford Jr., that's his name, earned $17.3 million in 2022 and has an estimated net worth of over $2 billion with a B dollars. Bill Ford took the unusual step of commenting publicly on the contract negotiations amid demands by auto workers for an all-out strike against the Ford and other auto companies. He is well aware and clearly concerned of the rank-and-file opposition to UAW President Shawn Fain's bogus stand-up strike, which has kept more than 3/4 of the 146,000 UAW members at Ford, GM, and Stellantis on the job and producing profits a month after the expiration of the contracts. So, says, growing impatient with the delays, Ford chair decides to make his threats directly to rank and file workers. He says, as the UAW strike against Ford continues, we are at a crossroads. Choosing the right path isn't just about Ford's future and our ability to compete. It is about the future of American automobile industry. So basically, yes. But what are the demands? The demands include demands for wage increases that keep pace with inflation, the restoration of a cost of living adjustment and pensions, and an end to the hated tiered wages system for the profits of the big three automakers. And here's the point. If workers did not surrender, Ford warned the company would lose plants like the Rouge complex and carry out massive layoffs. Ford's ability to invest in the future is the absolute lifeblood of the company. If we lose it, many jobs will be lost. So will future investments. So will factories like the one that we are in today, and communities will suffer greatly. So basically, it's almost like a mafia boss saying, it'd be a shame if we carried out. It'd be a shame if we carried out on this strike, because I wouldn't want you guys to lose your jobs, your livelihood, and then your town will go bankrupt. You see? So that's what it is. And why do we call them the big three? Well, the big three is because really it's really a monopolization, because they all have an agreement with each other. It's not because, oh, we're just the ones that are left standing. No, because they absorbed all the rest of the companies, and then they did layoffs and cuts so they can become bigger. So that's how capitalism works. It inflate, these corporations inflate themselves. But let's go to a couple of factoids regarding the Ford Motor Company. So let's go to gross profit. How much did Ford make, right? So Ford Motor gross profit. I'm not disabling my ad blocker for nobody. Y'all can get bent. Ford Motor gross profit from 2010 to 2023. So take a look. So gross profit for 2020 was $14.392 billion, but that was a 32.14% decline, right? Okay, because we all know what happened in 2020, right? So in 2021, it increased to 21.69 billion. So that means it increased by over 50%. So it was a big rebound. So you dropped 32%, right? But then you rebounded at 50.5%, right? So they basically did more than recover. But then in 2022, they made 23.66 billion. So they increased even more. So not only did they lost in 2020, rebounded, and then added even more in 2021, and then they continued that increase as if nothing ever really happened. in 2022 to 23.66 billion. So by that very notion, they made good on their profits. Now, how much does this dude make, as well as his other colleagues? Let's take a look. Executive salaries. So, Ford Motor Company, Billy Ford, William Clay Ford Jr. So his salaries, this includes equity, cash compensation, and other, $18,662,706. So equity is $13,785,209. Cash, which he collects a check, is $2,780,000, and then he gets another $2,097,000 in other. And so people will say, well, he just gets that in stock options and things like that. You can sell those stocks and get that money. That's also how they get around the taxes. Then James Farley Jr., right, who is the CEO, gets $22,813,174. His equity alone is over $16 million. Then he gets over $5 million in cash and then over $1 million in other. Then you have the CFO, Chief Technology Officer, and then this other guy who gets over 10 million. So they're sitting pretty while workers have to literally go on strike and put their livelihoods at risk just so that they can actually do okay financially. And is it fair? And so here's my thing. I hope Sean Fain sees the writing on the wall and says, everybody strike. Like, no more of this targeted strike here and there. Oh, we're going to strike at this plant. We're going to strike at that plant. No. They need to hurt. Now, the only thing that's a problem is that when it comes to striking workers, is that you have to have an adequate strike fund in order to take care of the workers while they're striking, which is tough. This is why mutual aid is so important, because with mutual aid, what happens is that a lot of striking workers are able to at least survive on the bare minimum while they're striking so that they will still have their housing, their food, maybe even some healthcare, things like that. Unfortunately, that's not as feasible as we would like for it to be. This is why building mutual aid organizations is so important. And so ultimately, this is why people like myself, part of Revolutionary Blackout Network, we do mutual aid right now. We're trying to build things up so that we can not only help out the poor and unhoused people in our area, but also ultimately, if there's some workers that are striking, we can raise money and help striking workers who may be on the picket lines too. Or learn about how co-ops are built and see if we can help fellow workers out there turn different businesses into a co-op so that they can own the means of production. Ultimately, that's part of the goals, right? So that we can make it so that the workers are good no matter what. Because I honestly do not want to leave our fellow workers to the devices of people like William Ford. Because ultimately, it's about him and the shareholders. It's not really about the workers. And he may say, well, no, it's about the workers too. We just want, things to be fair. And the thing is, it's been more than fair to people like Ford. What happened in 2008 with the automakers? Didn't our government give them a huge influx of cash? How have we made out? Did we make out okay? How many plants closed? I don't see Oldsmobile or Pontiac around anymore. What about Mercury? I don't see that around no more, right?